What's up, folks? We're just going to wait for this to kick in. Yeah, we're on. It's coming. Then we'll wait for Anna Lee to say hi. I'll do this, Mayor. I didn't really announce this on the community page today, so I forgot.
Thanks.
Oh.
You announced it yesterday.
Well, but that was just for the small crowd.
Meeting. Maybe you should have announced it.
Maybe. So we'll say hi to whoever ends up poking around in here momentarily for another episode of The Good Doctor. We are taking the place of Annette Dion this week, the psychic and the sidekick. She's away in Maine, so Mare was around, so we figured we'd do it. We haven't done one of these in a few weeks.
No, it's been longer than that.
Was it really?
The last one was Bubba's birthday. I think.
There's Tammy. Hey.
Hi, Tammy.
Long time no see, Tam. Let's really just get notified now.
Yeah.
Coming at you from Bridge headquarters, not on the deck, folks. Too dark and too cold this time around.
Definitely too cold.
So we're back in the our makeshift office here. Hi, Lisa. How you doing?
There she is. Hi, Annalie.
Hey,
Hi,
Annalie.
Lisa.
Good, good, good. Hope everyone's doing okay today.
You were on for a while last night.
I'm a lot taller than you, Lockwood.
You took the nice chair.
I did.
Thank you, Tammy. Hi, Christian.
Hey, Montone.
Yep.
So, Christian, Meredith overheard the 4-hour conversation we had the other
Parts
night.
of it. I fell asleep by the end, but parts of it.
Yeah, Chris and I did essentially had a long Facebook video chat. It was our first face-to-face meeting, virtual face-to-face.
Oh, it's nice. That's how you and I met.
It is. Well, not face-to-face.
No, but chatting online.
Yeah.
Typing, right.
Bubs, you're here.
Oh, hi,
What's
buddy.
up, Bubs?
Want to say hi?
What are you sniffing for?
What's down there? Hi, baby. There he is. There's the boy.
Hi, Jamie. How you doing tonight? Good to see everybody.
That's fine, Christian. Corey is a talker.
Christian's a doctor. Hi, Giselle. Maura, good to see you. So if you're just tuning in, if you missed last night's live session that I did, no Annette this week. She's vacationing in Maine. So Meredith decided to step up and she will answer pet care questions for all of you
Bubba's
in real time. And Bubba is in the closet. We don't even know what he's looking for in there.
Loves it in there.
Yeah, he'll lay down every now and then.
Hi, Bub. We don't have any treats for you.
Breathing weirdly. All right, buddy. Want to say hi to folks? There you go.
I could not find his lion costume. I was digging around in the attic. I could not find it. I do have pictures of him in it though, so I can always try to show those. He might have destroyed it because he did not enjoy wearing it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be wearing anything.
You made a good lion though, buddy.
What a good boy.
So we were going to do a Halloween theme today, but I couldn't find his costumes. The only thing, well, actually, I take it back. The only thing I did find.
Oh boy. You brought
This is our
props.
This is our bag of Halloween stuff.
This is our tiny
Our
shop.
one little bag, devil horns.
Who are those for?
Well, it's not a costume if you wear them.
Yeah.
And then Angel Halo.
Who was that for?
We bought these for when we had Jack and Bella, our two Labradors. One of them was a devil and one was an angel. But there's no way Bubba is going to wear this on his head.
No.
But yeah, that's all I could find. Oh, and then little angel wings, which would not fit him either.
Nope.
So anyway.
Hey, Sharon, good to see you again. LB, how you doing? Hello, hello, hello.
Okay. So
we're just getting warmed up tonight. Different kind of show because I know we're used to having the psychic and the sidekick here, but I will be back with Annette next week for, I believe, is going to be a Halloween themed show. I'm assuming we're doing that from each of our offices, but you never know. She changes her mind on the fly. So we'll see if we end up side by side. I keep telling her to come here and do this. It would be easier for me.
But she doesn't want to be inside.
Yeah.
And it's going to be too cold.
Although the first 100 shows she ever did was actually in the kitchen.
Yeah, that was before
eight,
COVID.
9 years ago. That was way back years ago, the old website stuff. So anyway, so that's it. So that's the deal. So we did take some questions from viewers last night. If you have questions about your pet or animals in general, the good doctor is here to answer them for you. And that's about it. Other things I have going on. You might have seen on my latest a little mini documentary I do for the local cable station here called Howard Blackburn, Gloucester's Greatest Fisherman. That's up and running. We're going to be with change worker Linda Sabo this Friday night, I believe at 7 p.m. I'm recording that during the day. I'll sit on that premiere chat this Friday evening with you all. And that show is themed on anxiety. So I have a bunch of questions for Linda there as well. So that'll be exciting. And then I'll be back on doing my own thing Tuesday evening next week, leading into the show with Annette, and then of course Halloween. So another thing that I actually have that I did this years ago. Remember Rick Roth from Cape Ann Vernal Pond?
Yeah.
So we have a guy, it's a Cape Ann Vernal Pond team, and I don't know, what would you call him?
Just pumpkin carvings.
Well, yeah, but his day job with the snakes and
Oh,
everything,
well,
the Vernal Pond team.
Yeah, he's a reptile keeper.
Yeah. He has massive snakes, or you name it. So anyway, I went to his place a couple Halloweens ago and did a show because he does carve gourds and pumpkins. And
He's very good.
in like a Mad Magazine, like Alfred E. Newman styles, he does all kinds of wacky stuff. Did a Lou Reed one, which was really cool. So actually, so I recorded him doing one of these. It's like a half hour, so I can't remember how long it is. So I'll play that once or twice before Halloween for folks too to check that out. He's an interesting guy. And I should probably have him on the show someday too.
Yeah, no, he's cool.
Yeah.
Just not bringing any reptiles, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, evil, that huge python, the yellow
Oh.
python, that she's beautiful.
I know I'm a veterinarian, but I can't, I'm not a reptile fan. I'll admit it.
So we want to say hi to Jessica Frank, the candle.
Yes. Hi,
The
Jessica.
candle
We're
giver.
still using the candles.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then Barbara, who
Oh,
was
Barbara's
who was
back.
chatting last night.
Yeah, good,
and Joan
Barb.
of Art, who's visiting.
Joan of Art not only went to the Azorian, I heard, because I did a video with
Yeah.
Patricia today and she mentioned it.
Yeah.
But would you know, she also visited
Pauline.
Pauline.
Wow.
Bresnahan.
You're hitting all the hits, Joan of Art.
And there's Joan of Art visited my friend Pauline. Going to a really cool gift shop over in West Gloucester. But by also finally we're starting to put some faces to some handles
Yeah.
here.
We're
which is
glad you're
great.
here, Joan.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed your stay, Joan. So how awesome is that?
Yeah.
And so as Annalie is pointing out too, the Bridge Cape Ann newsletter goes out first thing tomorrow morning. I know a lot of you sign up for it, which I really appreciate. If you want that every Thursday morning, just email me at hello@bridgecapeann.com. And that's ready to roll. Actually, I
Yeah.
take the thumbnail from this show and I'll add that to the newsletter and then it's good to
Okay.
go. Oh, and the Win It Wednesday drawing, I have to put that in.
Yeah, Joan, we saw the picture with Pauline. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
She's got that thick Gloucester accent.
Oh yeah, that's a legit Gloucester accent
Yeah.
she has.
Corey does not have that accent.
No, I went out of my way to lose that, but my parents definitely
Oh yeah.
have it.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, let's say hi to Phyllis. I know she has a question for you.
Okay.
Gloria, good to see you. Bomb Blue, great to see you again. I am Corey from Bridge Cape Ann. She is the good doctor Meredith. She is a real live veterinarian.
Live in person.
Yeah, and she answers pet care questions every now and then. This is the third or fourth time we've done this.
Fourth, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So people want their Yoon update. So
oh yeah.
you know how this always works, right? We miss Yoon. She sleeps in, and then she usually emails me within 5 minutes after the show ends. It just kind of works out that way. She actually messaged in the comments section of the video 23 minutes after we logged off yesterday. And then she emailed me afterwards saying that she just overslept.
Yeah, she slept in, which she's come in early in a couple of the previous shows.
Yeah.
So she needed a better night's sleep.
Yeah. So there you go. And I think she just got done moving back into her apartment. Her
Yeah.
apartment got redone. She had to move back in. So anyway.
Busy.
Yeah. So there is that. So yeah, we Yoon, that's taking on a life of its own at this training.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know if she would enjoy the purring icon. I'm not sure.
Listen, to clarify, Lockwood, it was a little cartoon
I
of
know.
just Yoon sleeping.
Yes.
And then when she wakes up, she springs up.
I know.
That's it.
I just don't know where the purring came in.
Well, I was going to say snoring, but
Right.
I just wanted to be able to depict that she was sleeping.
Like, yeah, I get it.
So anyway,
You know
so
who
there-
I miss? We
Hmm.
haven't seen in a while is Jabby.
Yeah,
Should've been.
Jabby always has the great questions.
She was the one who brought up the whole, you were hung in a previous life.
That's right. The hanged
That
man.
led to the crying tears. So,
Yeah.
or laughing.
Yeah, that was our laugh.
Tears.
That was our big laugh
But
of
we missed
2022.
Jabby. We need to find out where she's been.
Haven't seen Jabby. Annette's not around, so I'm assuming we're not going to hear from old guy tonight, but you never know. So we'll see.
You never know.
But yeah.
I think he was in one of our shows. I think he asked a pet question.
But he might have. He might have. He sent great licorice.
So his cat. No, I might be thinking of someone else. But anyway, yes, he sent great licorice that you ate without sharing.
I ate an entire bag during the show.
I know. My favorite kind.
But I didn't eat dinner. Yeah, that's the problem. We do those shows with Annette. They're 3-4 hours long, and we skip dinner usually.
Yeah, they're long.
Until the viewer saved us and started ordering us. Like Jessica ordered us pizza.
Yeah, that was a save. Well, that's also the week you had COVID, though.
Yeah, that was bad.
But
pizza was good though.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Christian, thanks for doing this tonight. Annalie, thanks once again. Old guy is definitely an Annette fan. We know that much. If you have questions, Meredith, we'll take them in real time. If not, I do have questions from last night's chat.
Yeah.
Phyllis, I know you're in here, so I'll get yours in out of the way. Dr. Lockwood.
Yes.
Phyllis asks, Meredith, should dogs get flu shots? A friend told me her dog had one today. Is that necessary? There isn't an outbreak, is there?
No, not that I've heard as far as an outbreak goes. It can be regional. I know several years back, there was an outbreak in New York. That's the closest it got to us, really. But no, I haven't heard of anything as far as outbreaks go. The flu shot in dogs, it's different than the flu that people get or influenza. So don't worry if your dog does have flu or if you have it, it doesn't cross species, but there is a shot or a vaccine for that in dogs. The dogs we mainly give it to here are ones that go to boarding kennels. So that's the main risk, is being indoors with other dogs in a kind of enclosed setting. Some kennels do require it. Not all, but some do. So if you ever did need to board your dog or they went to daycare, you should ask them if they require it. If they do, that's perfectly fine. Do or don't. I mean, it's up to each kennel as far as if they've seen it locally, if they consider it a risk in that area. So I wouldn't see it as a bad or a shot against them if they do or don't require it. It's just based on their experience. When an outbreak does happen, it can, it usually does spread pretty quickly throughout all the dogs. The symptoms do tend to be more on the mild side. So the typical upper respiratory, maybe some GI signs. In worse cases, just like flu with people, it can be more serious, but it's usually more mild. So yeah, the main reason I would recommend it for your dog is if they go to kennels or daycare, or if you go to like a park a lot where there's a lot of dogs in really close contact, although being outside, it would be a little bit less risk even in that case. So we don't get it for Bubba because he does not go around other dogs ever. He does not like other dogs. So those are the main reasons I would give it. But no, I don't consider it a core or a necessary vaccine. And I haven't heard of any outbreaks. And
Phyllis does say, yes, my friend's dog does go to daycare 3 times a week.
Then I would definitely consider it. It sounds like the daycare doesn't require it, but it would be something to talk about with the vet. If they've just never seen it anywhere in that area, then maybe not. But if they've had close cases of it, then that would be a possibility. So I wouldn't worry about your dog hanging out with your friend's dog. Generally, the symptoms develop quickly enough where, if your friend's dog did get influenza, you could then keep your dog away. So I wouldn't vaccinate your dog just because your friend's dog goes to daycare, if that makes sense. But yeah, they should probably talk about it with their veterinarian.
Okay. All right. Questions are starting to pour in, so let's get to them. Jessica Frank. Meredith, I have a cat and a dog. My cat will not be with us much longer. When it's his time, what can I do to help my dog through it so she doesn't have behavior issues afterwards?
It's a great question. I mean, animals certainly do feel loss. We saw that with Bubba even, who I just said he doesn't like other dogs, but the one dog he ever did like or love was Bella, our yellow Labrador, who passed away in 2020. And it was short-lived, but he definitely had some changes afterwards. So as far as helping your dog, if your cat does pass soon. It's really just extra attention, TLC, anything that they do really enjoy, just trying to do those things more. Just the same care you would take for yourself, because you're going to feel the loss as well. Just companionship and distraction, doing their favorite things. And if the opportunity arose to get another pet at some point, that might help as well. If he is the kind of dog that really likes to be with other animals, then, not a replacement, but certainly looking for another, animal at some point, that might be helpful too. Oh, the one Halloween
That's
decoration
it,
we have.
folks. We're not giant Halloween fans here.
Well, we tried to be.
We're just never around because we're usually working during that day.
We tried to be, so we didn't realize we live in a kind of like small street off a larger street. And we didn't realize when we moved in here, we moved in August. We had no idea that Halloween was huge in our neighborhood, because the more traveled street is a really well-known street in Gloucester for getting good candy. So we didn't have any candy and weren't prepared at all. And we got swarms of kids in the neighborhood. Yeah. And so we had to turn the lights off and hide in the bedroom.
Yeah, we were handing out potatoes and ice about an hour in.
This was well before Bubba.
Yeah.
So then the next year I had candy, but the kids were all scared of our dogs. It was not even Bubba. They just were scared. And I guess because we were hiding the year before, they didn't expect us to have candy. So then we had this huge bowl of candy and no kids came to us. And so we seemed to never hit the right note on Halloween, but who knows where we'll be living this year. So anyway.
Okay, so Jessica, thanks you. I don't know if you wrapped that up or not.
Sorry, Jessica. It's never easy.
No. Okay, next question comes from David Bent down under. How you doing, David? Good to hear from you again. Hi, Corey Meredith. My 15-year-old cat Archie passed from heart failure. Is there a standard test for HCM early? What is HCM?
HCM stands for hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So very common in cats. Dogs can get it as well, but HCM is by far the most common heart condition in cats. And unfortunately, David, there really isn't a standard test that we would run on a regular basis. HCM in cats, it's a really kind of subtle, insidious sort of thing where they don't show you symptoms often until it's really extensively progressed. So even on exam by a veterinarian, sometimes we don't hear a heart murmur. We don't hear anything that tells us HCM is present. And you wouldn't necessarily see it on an X-ray either, because the heart, the overall size of the heart might be the same. The muscle is just getting thicker and kind of in an inward way. So the size where the blood is, or the area where the blood is flowing inside the heart is compressed, but the actual overall heart size isn't necessarily larger. So it's a really tough one. It can be caused by other things. So like having hyperthyroidism can lead or make a cat more prone to HCM, but usually it's just a primary genetic or developmental thing that happens later in life. So I hate to say it, it's just, it's really hard to find. And usually by the time you do diagnose it, when there's symptoms there, the life expectancy is fairly short. So I'm sorry to hear that for your cat. There are some blood tests that can give you markers for the heart not functioning great. We just don't usually run those tests until there's a reason. So if there's symptoms that would lead us in that direction, but like I was saying, often by the time the symptoms are there, the disease is already really progressed. So it's a tough one. If let's, how am I going to say this? So there's certain breeds like Maine Coons, for instance, are a breed that is more prone to HCM. So potentially in those breeds, we would think about looking at those markers a little bit earlier or in a non-clinical case, but in a, just a domestic short hair, your more common kinds of cat, it's just not something we tend to find until it can be too late. So it's a tough one, but condolences for your kitty.
All right. Thanks for the question, David. Appreciate it. This is from Lisa S. Hi, Lisa. How you doing? And she says, Meredith, I have a senior with a heart murmur. Should I get an oxygen concentrator and enclosure for him? If so, any suggestions regarding a brand or type? My dog is a multi-poo, about 20 pounds.
Okay. So again, just kind of generalizing or giving you the most common cause of a heart murmur in a small breed dog. Usually it's an insufficiency of the mitral valve, which is a valve that's inside the heart that opens and closes when blood is going to pass through. It's open, and then it's supposed to close back down to then keep the blood flowing in the correct direction. That valve just can start to lose its function in these older, smaller breed dogs. It can happen in any breed, but it's more common in smaller breeds. And when that happens, the blood can leak back through that valve, and it just increases the workload of the heart. So generally the symptoms that develop would be maybe a less tolerant of exercise, maybe a cough if there's starting to be some pressure onto the lungs. Those would be the main symptoms, and then maybe a heaviness to the breathing. So without those symptoms, I wouldn't give supplemental oxygen just because. If your dog does have some trouble with their breathing or a cough or anything like that, then supplemental oxygen can help. Gosh, I can't think of the last time that I had a client actually, get a regulator or use that for their dog. But it I suppose could be helpful. It's just a pretty extensive thing to undertake to give your dog. You can use masks. So rather than getting a box, it might be a little easier to use they're pediatric masks that you can just kind of put over their nose rather than putting them in an enclosure. And then it would just be the same type of oxygen tank that a person would use. If it causes more stress than help, then that's the one issue, is sometimes it's just too stressful to make a dog inhale that oxygen. But flow by would work as well, where you just kind of put the tube of oxygen up towards their nose. But to really, get them to inhale it, a mask would be a little bit better if they tolerate it. So I'm assuming or, hoping that your dog's if it's getting to the point that it's having trouble breathing or changes in breathing that would necessitate oxygen, I hope they're on some medications to help the heart function a little better. There are products, given orally that would actually help the heart function and then maybe decrease the fluid load on the lungs. So I would resort or use those things before resorting to supplemental oxygen. So.
All right. Very nice. Hope that helps. Thanks
I'm
for the
missing all the
question.
chat. Is there a lot going on in the chat?
Oh, just a lot of hellos back and forth.
Okay. Well, hi, everybody. I'm if I'm in the middle of a ramble and I look at the chat, it's going to totally throw me off. So when I'm rambling, I don't look at it, but then I try to look at it in between.
Yes. You and Annette just focus on the camera and the answer.
But I don't want to miss, follow-up comments or anything like that.
You can watch the show like Yoon after we're done recording. So, all right, there's that. All right, thanks for the question. Next, we're on to Giselle, and she asked us last night too, so she reiterates here in the chat. Meredith, is it okay to give rawhide rings to my dogs?
Yeah, so I wouldn't give a blanket. Yep, rawhide's great for dogs on that. It really does depend on it's case by case. So some dogs don't tolerate rawhide for their GI tract. Others, if they don't chew it up well enough and swallow big pieces, that can be a problem. So possibly, Giselle, is my answer on that. But anytime you try a new treat or reward or something for a dog, what I usually say is just to make sure you're kind of observing and watching them the first time they have it. Make sure they chew it down really well. If you're worried that it's in a piece that they're going to swallow and they're a smaller dog, then just take it away rather than risking them swallowing a piece that might get lodged. And then just watch their stools afterwards. If everything comes out fine on the other end, then yep, should be okay. But anything new, just, always kind of be mindful of what's going on with them and just only introduce one new thing at a time. I have absolutely no hesitation to give rawhides to Bubba because he's got a stomach of steel. Yeah. He is enormous, so he's not going to get it stuck anywhere.
No, but he just acts weird.
He does. Oh gosh, I'm glad you said that because that's the one other reason behavioral changes. If your dog's really protective with treats and with things that they chew on, then that might be a reason not to do rawhides.
We've had 3 dogs since we've moved
Yeah.
back here together, and the only time they got really weird or fought
Yeah.
with each other was over rawhides.
Yeah.
I won't do it anymore.
Yeah,
I like
so-
the thought of it, give Bubba something to chew for a while,
Right.
but no.
Yeah, so that would be another reason. If they get really protective, rawhides, of course, tend to last a little bit longer than your usual treat. So if it's a dog that's going to be really kind of aggressively protecting that rawhide, you might not want to do it. But yeah, in most cases, it's fine. And I mean, Bubba's our only dog right now, so we wouldn't worry about it right now. But he does get weird.
No, because the last time I got him a rawhide, he got weird. He went
Yeah.
out to the marsh,
Yeah.
buried in the marsh, which was disgusting.
Yeah.
The salt marsh was covered in mud,
Right.
and he worked on it for like 2 days, and he couldn't leave it alone.
Yeah,
He was
he does
so
get a
weird.
little mental about it. I couldn't believe he buried it, even though we don't have, it's not like he's got competition or another
know.
dog that's going to go take it from him, but he still buried it.
He wanted to put it in the couch. And he
Yeah.
couldn't figure that out. so
Yeah,
then he
that
took it
was
to the-
pretty bad. I remember I made him go dig it up because honestly, he's not the brightest bulb. So I was worried he would never find it again. And, we spent money on this ride, so we didn't want him to just bury it and then it, never got used. So I made him go, I went and found the fresh dug area and made him take it out. Yeah, that was pretty bad, I will say.
Not as
So
bad as the-
behaviorally, watch that too.
Cool. All right, thanks for that. Moving on, this is a question from Gloria. Gloria says or asks, is it normal for a 13 to 14-year-old cat who has an overactive thyroid? Does it lead to kidney failure? He took his meds, but after being diagnosed in July, my cat passed Monday from kidney
Oh,
failure.
Gosh.
Sorry, Gloria.
So it was diagnosed with a thyroid condition in this year, and then July. Can you go
Sorry.
back up?
Sorry.
Diagnosed with thyroid in July and then passed in October. Wow. So what happens? So both of those conditions are very common in teenaged or older cats. So hyperthyroidism or an overactive thyroid, and then kidney disease. Very common. And yes, there is an interaction between the two of them. So it's interesting. Having an overactive thyroid can actually be helpful to the kidneys because it can increase blood flow through the kidneys. So when we treat hyperthyroidism and make their thyroid level normal again, we have to be really careful that we're not then unmasking problems with their kidneys. So that initial period when they start medications for the thyroid, it's very important to follow up and check the kidney levels when they're first starting meds. And then if it does unmask problems with the kidneys, we have to walk a really fine line because we want to treat or control the thyroid issue, but then, maintain enough blood flow through the kidneys where we don't hurt the kidneys. So yes, there's definitely an interaction between the two. Hypertension or high blood pressure can also happen with both of those conditions, which can again also just make kidney disease worse. So yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Gloria. There is definitely a connection there. And I wonder if by treating the thyroid condition, if it unmasked issues with the kidneys. And the thyroid condition is treatable, but kidney deterioration is not. So if it just kind of pushed things on the kidneys in the negative direction, and that gets really hard because you have to treat the thyroid, but you can't really stop the negative effect on the kidneys. So sorry about your kitty. I'm sure there was a connection there, but unfortunately, once the kidneys start to fail, there's not a way to stop that. So
He's rough to it. Tough start.
I
here
know
tonight.
lots of not well cats.
Nope.
It's never easy. We do see a lot of cats live into their upper teens and even into their 20s. That would be a little outlying, but those diseases of the elderly cats, because their life expectancy is getting longer and longer, there is you're having to deal with a lot of those chronic conditions in the teenage years. So yeah.
I do have
Unfortunate.
some breaking news to
Oh, gosh.
report. I just got texted from Linda Sabo, our resident change worker.
Yeah, she's gonna do Friday.
She's going to do Monday now. She can't do Friday because of an appointment, but that's good news. She got business, so she has an appointment now Friday. So the show with change worker Linda is going to be Monday evening now. And I'm gonna have Rick Roth in the pumpkin carving this Friday night. I can change that date, and I'll sit in on that. That'll be a premiere video. So anyway, I'll post this in the community tab after. But Linda was just texting during that last
Oh, fine.
question. So thank you, Linda, and thanks for your patience, folks. Okay, Tammy asked just a note here. She had a cat for 13 years, Kitty. Loved her so much. She went to the Rainbow Bridge on October 22nd.
Yeah.
Ooh, not that almost to the
it's
date.
almost an anniversary.
2018. She helped me through many depressing times. Yep.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Cats are definitely cats. I mean, we always take comfort from our animals. I kind of laugh about it sometimes where people say, "Oh, this is my emotional support dog." To me, every dog's an emotional support dog. Yeah, I guess some are working dogs, but not any that, not in our life. They're always emotional support.
I actually think you're more built to be a cat owner than a dog owner.
Why do you say that?
Because you're usually out working or whatever. And when you
Right.
come back, you just like to chill, and that's it. You're lucky we have
Well-
Bub, which is a rug with 4 legs.
That's why.
But a cat, I think, might calm you down a
Yeah,
little
but
bit.
cats don't like to snuggle. Well, I'm generalizing, but
big
in a lot
fat
of
cat.
cases, cats don't, they don't want to cuddle with you. And I like to cuddle with.
This dog loves to cuddle.
Oh, he's a champion. He's a gold medal cuddler.
All right, let's. Giselle has another question here about a neighbor's dog. Hold on one second. My neighbor's 10-year-old dog was just diagnosed with diabetes. What causes it in some pets? Is it genetic?
It can be. So yeah, diabetes is much more common in cats than in dogs. Usually they're overweight. Almost always they're overweight. So it's the kind of diabetes where their pancreas just stops making insulin because it's been taxed by the obesity over, several years and in a lot of cases. So the symptoms to look for, just like in a person, craving water. So very thirsty, urinating a lot as a result, and then having a ravenous appetite, but losing weight or losing muscle mass. So if you have any of those symptoms in your dogs or cats, certainly checking a blood sugar is step number 1. There's other conditions that can cause similar symptoms. What we were just talking about with hyperthyroidism, that can cause a lot of those symptoms as well, but not necessarily the craving water. And then kidney disease can cause the craving water, but usually they're not eating great when they have kidney problems. What is Bubba doing?
There's nothing back there.
So some similar symptoms with those 3 conditions, but it's usually pretty easy to distinguish them based on the history. And then definitely the blood test can distinguish them very easily. But yeah, diabetes, there are genetic factors to it, but it's mainly caused by obesity and it's treated with insulin injections. And then usually diet changes. The diet's more important. Well, I'm not going to say that. The diet changes in all species can help. Is he going to lie down in there?
Yeah, he's trying to dig up the rug.
Yeah. Can you guys hear that? He's scratching at it's just a remnant yucky carpet. So he's scratching, trying to make it, I don't know, comfortable for him.
Edible.
Bub.
He does it. He's going down.
Now he's going to do the circles.
There's
There's stuff in there, so he doesn't like it. He wants the stuff out. Oh, nope,
That's
changed
it.
his mind. Ay.
What do you want, Chief? All right.
Oh, I see Jessica's note about it's great that I'm back on the channel. Yeah, thank you. And I don't know why it was such a big gap here. We both got very busy the last couple months, and we talked about doing a show, but then I got really sick, non-COVID, but I had a week where I was just like worried about my voice going in and out and just not feeling well enough to do anything live. And then you were busy, and then we were traveling, and life has been just really
It's been a crazy year.
the last, this year, but the last couple months, definitely. Bub,
All right. You fine?
you want attention?
You're fine.
He wants attention.
It's almost that time for him.
Yeah. Notice he always goes to Corey because what he wants right now is food.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. It's like a reverse Pez dispenser. You just put
Mhm.
things in his mouth.
Yeah.
To take him out.
I always tell you, he's got you trained.
It's good. All right, let's move on to Barbara Everly. Hi, Barbara. Oh, let me scroll up here. We have 2 dogs, Boo, a miniature Schnauzer, and a Rocky, a Sharp-Eagle.
Sharp-Eagle,
like a Sharp-A and a Beagle.
That's interesting.
Sharp-Eagle.
I have not
Seen that?
No. Usually Shar-Peis don't get crossed with things if it is a Shar-Pei. Interesting.
Boo has been licking furniture and wearing holes in the upholstery.
Oh,
Rocky's now starting to do it too. Anything we can do to stop it?
wow.
Well, I'll keep that up there for you.
Yeah, that's that. It's definitely, it sounds behavioral. I doubt there's a medical cause for that other than like if the licking is like if he happens to be licking at himself or his paws and gets the furniture as like just where he's trying to lick.
Mhm.
So I suppose if that were the case, then maybe he's got allergies that are making him lick himself. But it sounds like it's more behavioral. That's a tough one. I mean, I see a lot of dogs who will scratch holes in the furniture. I guess if it's mainly happening when you're gone, it could be a form of separation anxiety that they're expressing, just telling you, hey, we don't like being alone and we're going to destroy the furniture as a way of showing you. If it's happening when you're there, then I think it's just going to take correction. Just really, anytime you see it, just telling them no. Maybe trying some different things like blocking their access to the furniture or keeping them out of that particular room. You can try things like, because it's licking, you could try a bitter tasting product on the furniture. Just test it first to make sure it doesn't stain or affect the color of the furniture, but something like a bitter apple on the spots that they lick the most. As a
bitter
deterrent.
apple?
It's well, that's one of the brand names. It's just a bad tasting liquid.
Oh, I got
like you would, how people will do that to get them to not chew their fingernails, anything that tastes bad.
Yeah, I just didn't know what that was a brand name because
It's called-
I just
yeah.
associate apples with sweetness. So.
Right. But that's the most common. It's just the brand name.
Yeah.
But again, test that it's color safe first on your furniture. And some dogs don't mind the taste of it, so it doesn't work for every dog, but just those ways of deterring, and then just keep at it because they're gonna maybe do better and then have a day where they backtrack. But just keep at it. And again, the only medical side of things that I would consider is if Boo is licking his paws or his body, and then that's transferring to the furniture, then I would think about having your vet investigate for allergies. And then Rocky might be doing it just because he's trying to copy Boo. So, a lot of dog psychology in there, but yeah, it sounds like it's a behavioral issue.
Dog logic.
I would think maybe separation anxiety if it's happening when you're not home.
It's a nice trivia question.
What's the trigger?
Which
Pets.
company's tagline was "Just for the taste of it"?
Just for the taste of it? I have no idea.
Just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I'm a
Yeah.
Diet Coke
Just
addict.
Diet Coke head is what we call Diet Coke addict.
I was looking at the poll question.
Oh, that was an old one.
Oh,
yeah, just for the taste of it. Diet Coke. Let's see. Sharp Lisa. My cat seems to know if I'm sick
Oh, yeah.
or feeling sad.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it. Let me scroll up here. Sharon, that's where the trees used to be.
Oh, are you talking about Bubba? Did we keep treats in the closet?
Well, Sharon's. Didn't Sharon
Oh,
send?
yeah.
We had to hide them
We
because
did.
I have to
Very
hide stuff
smart,
in the
Sharon.
closet sometimes because if people send food and it's days before the Annette
Yep.
show for dinner or snacks, I have to hide them unless they need to be refrigerated. So
Yeah,
that's
you're
where I hid
right.
them, and Bub found the toys and the treats.
Yep.
Giselle Gretel and Mini Schnauzer is a great licker too. She sits on the couch and licks her blanket.
Yeah.
Her jaws.
My sister's dog did that. I don't think you ever met her, but God, she would just obsessively lick the sofa. And it was just a behavioral thing.
Mm.
But my gosh, you'd go to sit down and be a big wet spot where she had just licked for half an hour and you didn't realize it. Not great.
Colleen Braun asks, what do you feed Bubba? I use IAMS, right? How you
Okay.
pronounce IAMS, that brand? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I would use IAMS. We tend to go, I'm a Costco member, so we use Costco brand. Just his size, obviously he eats a fair amount of food and it's a little less expensive. So I like the Kirkland brands. They sell at Costco, and then they sell other things too. Lately I've been getting him the weight control formula because someone has been overfeeding him and he's a little chunky. You give him a lot.
Chuck, he doesn't move.
I know. Well, that's the thing too, is, when he's less active, he needs the weight
I
control
think Bubba
formula.
had a tough summer because it was 95 and humid every day.
Yeah, he did. He seems a lot more active since we got back.
Yeah, can you tell?
Well, yeah, this is active Bubba.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I use dry. We've never given him canned. I talked about that in a prior show. It's not that I have anything specific against canned food. It's just more that it's kind of, in my mind, it's just kind of stinky, and he would need way too much of it. So it's always dry. And then Corey doctors his food up with all sorts of condiments and special things where
There's leftover condiments, we get rid of those, but also just if we have broth, chicken,
I
we
know.
sprinkle some broth on
that's
it.
why he doesn't like it when I feed him, because I just give him the dry food, which is very boring and tasteless, of course.
He doesn't want it.
Yeah.
But and also, like, if I leave after I feed him in the morning, I'm gone through lunchtime. It's like, well, Mike, he's not gonna have a snack. It'll hold him over for the extra hours or so. But at least he'll eat it instead of waiting for potatoes and apples when I get home.
Spoiled rotten.
Warren Green, how you doing? Warren wants to know if Bubba suffers from ADD. Don't we all?
Affection deficit. Oh my God. I don't think we can give this dog more affection. I mean, so the benefit of the pandemic for us has been Corey working from home. That's really helped Bubba, because we lost Bella shortly into the pandemic. And I think he would have had a harder time if you weren't here.
Yeah.
Because aside from being a vet, I also I work on houses. So I tend to be at my houses that I'm working on most of the day, and not home. So you being here has been great for him.
Yeah, just asking.
But yeah, when he wants attention, he finds ways to get it.
Oh yeah. Usually he just buries his head in my gut and just starts jabbing me.
Yeah, you
He
can't
did it during the last show.
It's impossible to ignore him.
No, he won't let you.
Because it physically hurts if you try, and he's batting you with his paws, or he'll just jab Corey with his snout.
Yeah.
So you can't ignore him.
His head weighs 35 pounds. So.
Yeah.
All right. Some follow-ups here. David Ben. Thanks, Meredith. Archie also had diabetes for 7
good.
years. So we did pretty well.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Diabetes and then HCM. Gosh, that's a tough thing for Archie to have dealt with. But I'm sure you did great by him if you had to give injections for all those years.
Saying hi to Mary Hall Summers. How you doing? Jessica Frank Meredith. Does that mean Corey is the sucker?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always tell him, I tell Corey that Bubba has him trained. Whenever he goes outside, Bubba walks and stares at the treat jar.
Yeah. But also, I don't mind that he doesn't spend too much time out there in the marsh, whatever, because I can't keep an eye on him.
I know. It's all,
It works out.
I poke fun just as much as Corey does, but yeah, he's got Corey trained.
No, this is how it breaks down. You feed him a proper amount of food in the morning or at night if you're doing breakfast or dinner for him. I only feed him half as much because during the day, I'd rather throw him an apple or a potato and watch him work on it. I think it's funny.
Right. And that's the nice thing, is that a lot of the, extras that Bubba gets, they are fruits and vegetables. So, I mean, it's not that he's getting yucky stuff. He's very well.
That stuff for us.
He's very well fed.
He's not getting ice cream cake anytime soon.
No, he's very well fed. But yes, Corey is the sucker.
Barbara, Shar-Pei and Beagle mix, doesn't lick himself, and he does when you're
there. So yeah, it's got to be just a behavioral thing. For whatever reason, I would try some of those deterring, just telling him no. And I can understand it's maddening. When I was at my sister's house and her dog had that behavior of licking, yeah, I mean, just that sound of a dog licking, it's not necessarily a pleasant sound, and then it leaves a wet spot. So yeah.
Yeah, you do hate that stuff.
Yeah, it's gross. Well,
it's the same thing as just if you just put a fork or spoon through cooked pasta, spaghetti.
I guess.
So it's that sound.
Yeah.
Actually, because in radio, if we were doing radio theater and we wanted a sound of like worms squishing through mud, it was spaghetti, and you just twirl it around. Think of that sound. That's the sound.
Oh, it's gross.
It's the same sound as a dog licking.
Well, and then the stains on the couch. If it's cloth, it leaves stains. It's not fun to deal with. So, I hope just keep at it, trying to deter.
Cat's Crazy Life. Good to see you. Might want attention even when I'm right there on the computer. Yep, I hear that. Bubba's he's either sleeping with his head on the computer chair, or he jabs me in the ribs or the stomach, or he just puts pressure on my arm if I'm using the mouse, and just slowly just pushes down until I give him attention. So let's see.
What is that?
What? I don't know.
So Sharon said double-sided sticky patches. Yeah, that can help too. It, it means that you can't sit in that particular area unless you want to sit on the sticky patch. But yeah, you certainly could try those patches as well. That can work for cats that scratch at the furniture, because cats don't like stickiness on their paws. So yep, double-sided tape can work too.
Good. Okay. Oh yeah, Jamie Johnson asked this last night. Please give me some tips for trimming my senior border collie's nails. She hates the brush and the nail clippers.
Okay. And I'm assuming you say senior, Jamie, so it's probably been a lifelong, or has always been this way, I would imagine. With senior, sometimes they can get a little averse to brushing and to clipping because they're a little sore in the joints. So obviously just being gentle with the brush, especially over the hip areas and the spine and places that they can be ouchy. And then for the nail clippers, just don't, don't pull too hard or make them extend too far. So I know I'm not saying that you do those things, but just basic, if it's something that's gotten worse since she's gotten older, that might be why. But yeah, just trying to associate it with something she does like. So, in Bubba's case, we'll try to give him treats or have treats at the ready. He's not that bad for it. He's not great, but he's not terrible either. So, the one thing that helps with him is treats, and then just trying to do it fairly quickly. Some dogs, it's kind of like, if you're just trying to do it all at once, like do all 4 paws and all 4 or 5 nails, depending on if they have dew claws at once, it's just too much for one time. So maybe just trying to do, 1 paw a night, or even just 1 claw a night. I know you said she hates it. So it's not that I want to, lengthen or have her doing something that she doesn't like every day. But at the same time, if it's just that kind of anxiety of having this long, drawn out, all 4 paws trimmed, just trying a couple at a time, or you could try filing them too, which filing, of course, takes a long time as well. But it's not squeezing the nail; it's just kind of filing off the sharp edges or sharp tips. So a few things you can do or try to make it a little better. I mean, if she's always hated it, it's not something she's ever going to enjoy. So then it's just trying to get through it, really. But associating with treats or fun things can be helpful. And then trying to walk on abrasive surfaces. So here, obviously we live, near the beach. Dogs that spend a lot of time on the beach, that can really help to file their nails down, or concrete as well. And then the one thing I will say though is this doesn't apply with your dog, Jamie, but if you're adopting a puppy, the best thing you can do to make this less stressful or traumatic during their lifetime is to just make them not, associate holding paws or getting that nail trimmer out with a clipping. So just kind of training them into it being not a bad thing. So
you work on like special handshakes or something?
Well, when you're sitting and the puppy's just cuddling with you, hold their paw, squeeze their toes, pinch their nails, and then just have the clippers out and just do 1 nail, and do 1 nail a night. And when you get to the end, just start over again, just so it's not this big, drawn out thing.
You don't do that for Bubba?
I don't, because we got Bubba when he was 4.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And you remember,
did not like
so it was not the first time. So right after we had adopted him, he broke a nail running in the yard. And he didn't realize it. So he walked inside and he was bleeding everywhere. And so all I wanted to do was just get a bandage on his paw until the bleeding stopped. So grab my bandage stuff. I'm like, I'm just going to wrap it. Oh my God, you would have thought we were torturing him. Do you remember that?
He hated it. Yeah.
Oh my God. And it terrified me that he was going to be awful for nail trims. But I think his nail just hurt at the time. So I just made him stay outside until it stopped bleeding. But yeah, he's not terrible for nail trims, but that's why is because he was 4 when we adopted him.
Same with Jamie.
Yeah. So if we're past the puppy time and can't, make it a less stressful thing, then Just trying to make it as, using the things that they do enjoy as a reward for it.
Hmm.
And old guy is here.
Old guy is here.
Hi, old guy. I
Well,
said that you had been in one of our chats before.
And Dorothy Lynn just popped in. Dorothy, we haven't actually gotten your question yet, so it's good that you got here
Yeah.
in time. So
That's
just in order now, Christian, our wrenchman, had a question for Meredith.
Aw.
In your whole career as a vet, which animals have been your favorite patients, as in those that have captured your heart?
Too many to remember, or to recount. I love giant breed dogs. I didn't grow up with one. I don't know why. When I started seeing giant breed dogs as a vet, it's like, there's just something about them. That dog that you can stand and pet and just,
They can stand and hug you.
yeah, yeah. And actually that one patient I do remember pretty distinctly, hi baby, was a Great Dane who, just enormous, like 180-pound Great Dane, beautiful, purple.
Yeah,
Oh God,
purple-
what was his
purple
color?
gray coat.
Purple, but there was a term for it.
Yeah.
But just beautiful coloring. And I walked into that exam room and the owner said, "Is it okay if he gives you a hug?" Of course, yes, please. And the dog put its front paws up on my shoulders and just was staring straight into my eyes. Ah, I love that dog. And I actually have a picture of that I still have on my phone. So giant breeds always get me, and just those, really soulful eyes like Bubba. Oh, baby. And then you have these cases where there's just a special connection that you see between the animal and the owner, and those stay with you for a while too. I actually Merle, yeah, purple Merle or Harlequin. Yeah, it was a beautiful dog. One that actually the owner became a friend of mine.
Blue Merle, says Jamie.
Yeah. But he was actually, I think it was purple.
It was purple.
Yeah.
Really gray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. All right, buddy.
The owner became a friend of mine, but the dog had been her father's.
Do you have this for a bit? So I can.
What are you talking about?
He wants to go.
Oh, yeah, I'll watch the chat. The dog had been her father's, and I saw her for several years. And when it came time, the dog was starting to have issues. That was really tough because I had become friends with her and I knew the connection. And it was that, she loved the dog on her own, but it was her connection to her dad too. So those kind of cases, just, they kind of stay with you. And I'm not saying it in a sad way. It certainly was sad for me too, but it's just makes you realize the importance of what you're doing. We really do become a part of people's lives in a lot of cases. And, it was a wonderful thing. It also weighed a lot on me throughout my time as a vet. So, it's part of why I'm not full-time as a vet anymore. I've pulled back a little bit. I just certainly was, finding it a little bit stressful, to do it on a continual, full-time basis.
Mm-hmm.
And, thankfully with our joint, incomes, I was able to peel back a little bit of time there. So, it was a great thing. It just, can get a little bit, overwhelming after time too, when you realize that, you do hold a lot of importance in people's families and lives.
Mm-hmm. Noble profession. All right. Did you get the old guy's question?
I did not. I was rambling.
Old guys, good to see you again. And he says, my 3-year-old female German Shepherd climbed a 7-foot fence to join me and my 3-year-old Australian in our woods today. She's my Velcro dog, and I walk them separately for more control. Any advice?
So when you say Velcro dog, I'm assuming she just always wants to be with you. And a 7-foot fence, I'm just trying to picture her getting over that. German Shepherds, certainly a high energy type of breed, and then also a very protective type of breed as well, where that might be part of the Velcro dog side of things, is that she sees herself as your protector, or, oh gosh, she's going out on a walk, I need to be with them and make sure they're okay. Wow. I guess I'm curious about, when she is home and you're out on a walk with the other dog, does she show separation anxiety in the house, like being destructive in the house. Because that just would indicate that she's certainly got doesn't want to be away from you. Climbing over the fence indicates that as well. I'm just curious if this is a regular thing or if there was something today that set her off. I mean, I think that she would have to be in an enclosed area when you leave, since a 7-foot fence didn't stop her. I think that walking them separately, it sounds like a necessity. Just as you said, for control, walking 2 dogs can be tough if they're both larger in size, or you can't necessarily control them both. I mean, if it's a possibility to walk them both together, that may be the best thing for her, just because if there is a separation issue. But again, I understand if you aren't able or don't want to do that. So I think you're going to have to have her in the house, and then you can try things that desensitize her a little bit to your leaving. So I know the other dog deserves to take long walks and get exercise as well, but just shortening the walks with the other dog for a bit, just even where it's like around the block and you come back and check in with her. Maybe that'll help her not feel the anxiety of you being gone for a while with the other dog. That's going to be tough, old guy. Yeah, I think you're stuck between a rock and a hard place with having better control when you walk them separately, but her not being okay with being alone. So, but yeah, just making sure she's in a safe spot and not able to jump over the fence again. I'd hate to jump to medications. There are medications to help with separation anxiety, but usually it's more just trying to decrease the triggers that lead to the anxiety. So just shorter walks, or temporarily, and trying to build them up again. Gosh, something just jumped into my head too with this is probably a non-starter, but having a third dog. So then when you walk one, there's a second one with your German Shepherd, but that's creating I know that's a lot to even think about.
All right. Tonight's poll question, Mare.
Yes.
Do you want to see Bubba eat a potato? 8% said no.
Bubba wants to eat a potato. I think Bubba voted yes on that one.
Huh, that's interesting. Bubs, this is how big this one is. That's a beauty. What a spud. Look at him. Look at that. Eat. Eat. Oh, Once that tooth goes into it.
He's going to bite you, and you'll deserve it. While you were doing that, I was going to pull up the picture of Bubba as a lion. You got to find it. You answered old guy. I tried to. I don't know how much help it was, but that's a tough. Separation anxiety is such a difficult issue, and it's one that I think is becoming more prevalent with owners having been home a lot during COVID, and maybe now branching out or going out a little bit more again. So I hope that helped, old guy. How do I show this?
You're holding up to, I'll do that for you.
Bubba as a lion.
It's ridiculous.
And that was our little yellow lab Bella. This was all the way back in 2018. And wait, there's more. Bubba as a lion lying on top of Corey. I can't believe I can't find that costume. Where could it be?
He might have torn it up to shreds.
And I think, honestly, is this when we had shaved him? He looks like he's shaved in that picture, or he's really light.
Oh yeah, why?
There was one time, okay,
Oh,
this is bad. I know. So we would shave Bella because she was yellow lab. She shed more than any yellow lab I've ever seen in my life.
She shed a lot.
And it really bothered his allergies, and she didn't mind. So she let me shave her without really protesting. And she looked exactly the same shaved, because her skin was light and her hair was light. Her fur was light.
3 days.
Right.
Fur, yeah.
So I had the clippers here and I was shaving her, and Bubba came over to me, and I'm like, all right, I'll see what happens. And I ran one little stripe down him, and he didn't care. So then I shaved Bubba too, but he looked ridiculous. Yeah. And I never did that again.
Thank God.
Yeah. But I think that's when he was shaved.
Yeah. All right. It's the top of the hour, folks. At 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here. You're watching another episode of The Good Doctor, This is Dr. Meredith Lockwood. She's a real live veterinarian. She happens to live in the same house I live in.
Oh,
And we do these shows every now and then for you. We usually reserve this time spot for Psychic Annette Dion, but she's away in Maine doing her own thing tonight. We'll be back next week for you. So there is that. We're answering your pet care questions in real time tonight. We'll go to this one from Amanda Engels. Hi, Dr. Meredith and Corey. How do you feel about raw dog and cat foods?
I'm okay with them. We don't do that for Bubba just because, gosh, I think it would be cost prohibitive. But yeah, I have a lot of owners who do choose to do that. It's not something that I push as far as saying, like, recommending it or saying, oh, you need to feed your dog raw. But if an owner wants to, and, we discuss it, the one thing I always just make sure of is that they're using good handling techniques. So if you're preparing the food yourself and it's raw, just washing hands, of course, especially no-brainer wise, if there's any type of meat or chicken or, something that's potentially salmonella would be a concern. And then just making sure it's fairly fresh. So yeah, I think it's fine. It's not, usually a requirement or something that a dog or cat needs. But certainly a fine thing to do if you wanted to do that. Yeah.
There you have it. Thanks for the question. Let's get to this one from Dorothy Lim.
Yeah.
My cat rubs his cheeks on my running shoes and leaves a bad odor.
Huh.
What is he doing?
I'm trying to figure out what the bad odor is. Because usually there's not a bad odor that would come from the cheeks. Cats, of course, have whiskers, and their whiskers they use them for like sensing where they are and placement. And then sometimes it's just a kind of a enjoyment thing that they'll rub the whiskers on whatever surface they can find or that they enjoy. But I don't know why it would leave a bad odor unless there's like maybe dental disease going on or something in the mouth that's transmitting a bad odor to their saliva, and that's what you're smelling. But it's usually just a behavioral thing and not something necessarily that you need to stop. If he's due for a checkup anytime soon, I would have the vet just take a look in their mouth, or if you feel comfortable, just kind of flip the lip up and look. If you see a lot of calculus or tartar on the surface of the teeth, or the gums look really red, they might need some attention with the mouth. Was that a burp?
Yeah.
That was the loudest burp. I don't know if you guys could hear that. But yeah, it's behavioral. They just enjoy rubbing their face. The bad odor is the only thing that makes me think that he maybe needs a checkup, but not necessarily an emergency. Just might be something going on in the mouth.
Okay, hope that helps, Dorothy. Thanks for the question, and thanks for tuning in as usual. Jessica Frank had another question. Meredith, have you had any experience with lap of love? What do you think of them? What is lap of love?
Lap of love is a gosh, I think it's just the company. It's a broad company that then employs veterinarians to do in-home euthanasias. So you're working for Lap of Love, but functioning as a traveling vet. And I actually have a classmate that works for them across the country who, she's a nice person. And then I did look into if they offered that in this area, and they do. So highly, I would, recommend them, not, knowing the specific vet who's in your area, but if someone chooses to work for them and do that specific service, it's usually because they are a compassionate person who wants to offer as much of a comforting experience to your pet and to you. So yeah, I can't give a blanket. All of the vets that work for Lap of Love are great, but the ones that I know and what I know of the services they offer, I like what they do. It's often hard. My clinic does offer to go to our clients' houses for euthanasias. It's just sometimes tough to do when you're also trying to work or keep the patients in the clinic well cared for. So to have that as another outside service that can be enlisted, it's a nice thing to have.
Cool. Well, I'm learning every show, Lockwood. Thanks for that. Okay, MS has a question. How you doing, MS? Do cats' eyes always drip a little? Do the tears always stain a little on the fur on the face?
I wouldn't say always. It's much more common in like the short-nosed cats, like a Persian cat
Mhm.
that has the smushed in face. In those breeds, it's usually because their tear duct, which just like us, they have a tear duct that starts in the middle corner of the eye and then drains out through their nose. So that tear duct, because they don't have much of a nose, can get a little bit plugged or not drain as well. So the short-nosed cats, it's very common. And yes, often those cats are light in color, so a gray or white, and the tears will stain their fur. So in those cases, yeah, very common. Um, in a, cat with a longer nose, I wouldn't say that it's a normal thing to have excessive tears. But it could be. I'm sorry. I'm wavering a little bit or not explaining it well. But yes, it's not necessarily a medical reason. But I wouldn't call it or say that cats always have it, if that makes sense. Could be allergies, just like with us, people that get watery eyes because they have allergies.
Our yellow lab always had.
Yeah.
So in one eye,
Yeah.
always.
And if it's mild, it
Yeah.
sometimes doesn't even require treatment, but the staining is from the tears just affecting their fur. And that's much more common in lighter colors. But it also does not always happen. So yeah, another case where if they're due for a checkup at some point, I would just bring it up at their checkup and just say, hey, he seems to have a lot of tears. Do you think it's a problem? And your vet will look at the eyes and, see if there's any redness associated with it or if there's any other things going along with it. But yeah, not in a smush nose cat. It's probably a function of their anatomy.
There you have it. Good. Anita suggests we make Bubba a potato for Halloween.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love
I
that.
can offer some good costume ideas for dogs. Actually, one. So the one that our clients will bring their pets in costumes sometimes around the holidays. And the one year it was just fantastic. The dog had surgery and they came back for their checkup. And the dog, of course, was wearing the cone of shame. And they had made what looked like little olives and put them on like a steak. And it was a martini glass. Oh, it was the cutest thing. And so I always offer that anytime I do a surgery and have to send home the cone around Halloween. I'm always like, hey, great costume idea. Make them a martini glass.
That's
So
funny.
yeah.
Cute. Let's see. Dorothy, thanks you.
Thank you for
And
the
Lee,
check.
thanks you for doing this tonight.
And heard Bubba burp.
Yeah, it was a good one. She's a short hair black
Black.
domestic cat, MS.
So not. Did MS ask about the tears?
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
I'm sorry. I thought it was okay. Yeah.
Did, yes.
So yeah, just a domestic short hair. It might just be some mild allergies, or if she does have a little bit of tear duct issues, but staining of the fur would be unusual in a black cat because normally it stains light fur like a brownish or orange color.
Thanks, Joanne.
Thank you, Joanne. I'm trying to be fun. I know I tend to get serious or answer the questions.
Well, hey, people take their pets incredibly seriously.
I know, but I don't want it to be boring.
It's
I
not.
think I was watching one of our shows and I was bored at one point just because I'm
Was it your
listening to
answer?
myself. I'm like, oh my God, why am I still talking?
Well, but I think even if that answer is just for one person, like that's a pretty special thing to give like an 8-minute answer on this person's pet. It's almost like when Annette answers a question, just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
I tune out because I'm dealing with other stuff.
Yeah.
But people really appreciate it.
No, and I know people ask questions that are about their pet, but what I try to do is make it so other pet owners can take information
Yeah,
from the question
everyone
as
can
well.
relate. Yeah.
So if someone asks about when someone asked about diabetes, it was okay, well, I'll answer the specific question, but if that one little thing I said triggers something in 2 years where, oh, she said that a cat drinking a lot of water might have diabetes, if that helps, that's why I tend to broaden it a are bit.
There we go. No one's bored. They
Oh,
love
good.
this show.
Thank you guys. And also just because technically, veterinarians are supposed to have a veterinary client patient relationship. to offer medical advice. So that's where, if you were to ask me a very specific question, like, oh, my dog is taking 5 milligrams of prednisone twice a day, is that correct? Like, I can't answer that because it's beyond the scope of my licensing. And it's also, the respect amongst veterinarians would be that you need to, it's the primary vet that has examined your pet and diagnosed them and prescribed that medication is the one that I would defer to, so I'm never going to answer anything to that specifics, but because I can't, and because I think it's kind of stepping on your vet's toes. But, if I can offer advice that you can use or, take to your regular vet, that's what I want to do.
The other thing too, Mayor, it's like half the people watching these shows don't even own pets.
Mhm.
So they're getting something.
They just like you, honey.
Yeah. That's right. All right.
Or Bubba.
What you want to
Well,
know?
we learned last night that really it's Bubba that's the attraction because
Oh my
it's
God.
Bubba merchandise that people want.
People want Bubba merchandise.
Yeah. So
Can we put a
which is
print on
great.
a potato and just send that to folks? Let's see. Joanne asked, Meredith, I am very allergic to dogs and cats. I'm going to visit my son who has a dog. I take daily allergy pills, but an attack can trigger an asthma attack. Any suggestions on how to deal with this?
Yeah, that's tough, Joanne. I know that's one of the main reasons that I'm more of a dog person than a cat person is because my dad is severely allergic to cats.
Oh yeah.
And has asthma or will react to them as well. So yeah, I can empathize because when we went to visit family or friends that had cats, he had to actually be in another room or really stay away from the cats. So it's tough. I would see if your son can just do a good vacuuming the day before you arrive. And also if the dog is one that sheds a lot, then maybe like do a really good brush out or take them for a bath or for a grooming the day before, just so the groomer can really brush them out and get as much dander off the fur as possible. It's usually that dander or fur that's the most triggering. So those things can help decrease the amount of dander you're exposed to while you're there. And then other than that, just trying to separate from the dog as much as you can.
Hold on. So Jessica
Yes.
Frank says there's going to be Bubba merch. 100% in for
They
this.
talked about it last night, Jessica.
Christian, Bubba merch will be happening. Discuss this with my students today when they saw it.
Your students.
Yeah, he is working.
What did they want?
Well, Christian's working on a top
Yeah,
secret
I know.
merch project right now.
Wow. I don't know. I find like, what do we just put Bubba's face right in the middle of a t-shirt?
I mean, look at that face.
It's something.
Yeah.
I think I'd feel weird wearing a Bubba t-shirt.
Yeah.
Maybe a little thing off to the side. What's the tagline going to be though?
I don't know if he needs one. Well, see, do we have so many people watch that someone will be clever enough and come up and coin a phrase or whatever, if need be. I don't know.
And old guy said, nobody owns pets. The pets own us. I agree, old guy. This is Bubba's house. We just share it with him.
Oh, you can look around.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has a bed in every room. And then he has our bed.
Yeah.
On top of that, the couch, the bed. I have a stack of comforters here. He's just on. There's another one in the hallway. Yeah. It doesn't matter. He's all over the place. And
then Sharon Bottoms had a follow up on Joanne's question. An air purifier, definitely starting the day before. And then while you're there, an air purifier would help pull those allergens out. So yeah, great idea. Bubba runs everything. That's true.
That might be the tagline.
Yeah, we got to think of, I like that. But what was, we had another, when we did his birthday show, Annalie had a good one. It was Bubba's birthday bash or something.
That's what we ended up calling the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something out there. I have plenty of pictures to choose from. So half of my camera roll is Bubba. And then the other half is my great nephew. And then the other half is my houses.
It's a lot of hats. Yeah. Beautiful stuff. All right, moving on to another question. This is from Damon. Damon, our buddy, he was chimed in last night and said, question for Meredith. Is there a way to get a German Shepherd without the genetic hip disease? Okay. I saw Christian's comment, so I'll come back to that. But you're an only child and not your parents' favorite. That's funny. They like your friend Steve better. Oh, we need to talk to your parents, Christian.
I want to meet this Bichon. So yeah, as far as Damon's question, German Shepherds and genetic hip disease. So it's very common in Shepherds. So this is where I might get on my soapbox a little bit. So stop me if I do. But the breed standard for a German Shepherd, as defined by the AKC, that controls all of that, is to have a sloped back. So let's go this way. So, you know, head here. Oh, this is terrible. And then they're supposed to have a slight slope to their spine that goes down to their back legs. So most dogs, if Bubba would stand up right now, I could show you, but most dogs are very straight. The level of their back is the same at their front legs and their back legs, versus a Shepherd having a little bit of a slope towards the back end is more common. And that puts a lot of stress on their hips. So they're very prone to arthritis later in life. And they're also very prone genetically to hip dysplasia, which, in addition to the sloped back, hip dysplasia is a condition where the actual joint of the hip does not form correctly. So the ball at the top of the femur, which is the leg bone, does not sit far enough into the rim of the pelvis, or the acetabulum it's called. So it's sitting further out, which creates an instability that also leads to arthritis. So dogs with hip dysplasia, it doesn't mean that they will get arthritis. It just means that they're more likely to, if that makes sense. So I wish that the AKC would modify a whole host of their genetic requirements, not even just for German Shepherds, but for, you know, the short-nosed dogs like bulldogs and pugs, and that's a whole other story. But if it's part of their breed standard, it encourages the breeders to keep that in the lines. So really the one thing you could do, Damon, is just to talk with any prospective breeder that you want to use about, you know, their approach to that. And then also there is a certification that can be done on breeding Shepherds. It's called an OFA. It's through the OFA. So that's a group or a certifying body that will look at, is it OFA? Yeah, I think it is. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain spasm. They will look at x-rays taken by your veterinarian.
Yes.
Who then, and then they can say that the dog they give it grades. They say excellent, good, adequate, or they grade the hips of the mother and father. And then that would give you an idea of what to expect in the puppies. So if the mother and father get a good OFA certification on their hips, then that means that the puppies are less likely to have dysplasia. So I would ask the breeder if they do OFA certification on their breeding dogs. So those are the couple things you can do. I love the breed. They're a great dog.
Yeah.
I just wish that, you know, the focus was away from that particular genetic confirmation.
There you have it, folks. All right. Well, if you have any more questions, we can take those. If not, we can wrap things up.
Well, what time is it?
It's June 17.
I know. You have to give it a little longer.
Yeah, we can wait. I'm out of questions,
I
Meredith.
know.
Any questions for Meredith? Oh, so while we have time here, no Annette tonight. She's doing her own thing on her own channel. We're back with Annette next week for a Halloween themed show. Not sure if we're going to be on location somewhere. I'll keep you posted on that. This Friday was going to be Linda Szabo, our change worker, hypnotherapist, a show on anxiety. We've moved that to Monday. She ended up getting appointments Friday morning. So in its place, I have a show I recorded a couple of years ago with a friend of mine who carves pumpkins, and it is legit and can put really cool designs in the pumpkins. So that is Rick Roth, my friend, and that'll air this Friday night, 7 p.m. I'll sit in that live premiere for you folks as well. Maybe I'll play that a couple times before Halloween. So there is that. And then I'll be back with Annette, of course, like I said, next Wednesday, following a Tuesday night live session where I'll field your questions.
Bubba is, I don't know why or what he's doing. He's like messing around with his blankets over here. What are you doing, babe?
Getting tired?
Oh yeah, the pumpkin carving show is very cool.
Yeah.
He's very talented.
Yeah.
It's a shame that they're not, that they're temporary.
I know, because he has like 50 of them on
He's
his
really good
on his yard. It's on a main road here.
Yeah.
It's like a steep incline, and he has all these spots to put these tombstones and gourds and everything. And then you go like 3 weeks after Halloween, and it's a gruesome sight over there. So, okay, cool. Another question from Jessica. What breed of dog and cat does everyone have? My cat is a black Tom, and my dog is a Catahoula German Shepherd mix.
Yeah. So of course we have Bubba now, which he is an English
Castle.
Mastiff. Before him we had Bella, who is a yellow lab, and then
And a pit bull mix. We think.
and yeah, yellow lab pit bull.
She's yummy.
But she looked more yellow lab to me. And then we had Jack, who was a chocolate lab.
Mhm.
Great dog. He is still my screensaver.
That's the Jackie boy.
That was him. He looks like oh, my phone turned off. He reminds me of a Jedi in that, like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Looks like he's wearing his cloak. I love that dog. And then we had Maple, who was a Doberman Rottweiler mix,
Yeah.
who drove across the country with us when we were moving from Los Angeles to out here.
She was a big leaner. She would always just lean into you.
Yeah. We've had she was a lazy dog as well.
The one thing that was great about Maple, though, is that she loved to be brushed.
Yeah.
Loved, like she would lay down for hours and get brushed.
Yeah, which she had that coat that you want to, pull off as much as you can. So
Yeah.
that was great. And then we had Moosey, who is a German short-haired pointer.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yep. And before him, I had Missy, who was a black lab. So all big dogs. I'm just a big dog girl.
And we both grew up with Cocker Spaniels, right?
We did.
Yeah.
I had an English Cocker Spaniel growing up.
Yeah.
And you did too.
Was that in English, I guess?
Well, English
know.
or there's American as well.
It was black with
Yeah.
a light chest. That's all I know.
It's probably in English then.
Yeah.
They're usually darker. They can be darker in color.
Pepper was his name.
Yeah.
It was fun. He would take off for a few days at a time, which got kind of weird
Really?
towards the end. He would just
That's
go.
not safe.
I know.
Huh.
He would go end up in the woods and then just come back 3 days later like nothing happened.
Some border collie mixes. Yeah, border collies,
Oh, Portuguese water dog.
fun dogs. They need a lot of exercise. So border collie is like a working dog. They would actually be a herding dog. So they want to run. They want to herd. Like if you have chickens or ducks, they'll herd
round
them.
things up. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've just always done large breeds.
Oh, you should probably throw some warnings out for Halloween candy and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course, the usual. Be careful with Halloween candy for chocolate, of course.
Peeps, are Peeps okay?
Oh gosh, other than being completely disgusting, they're not dangerous for dogs. It's just too much sugar. I don't like Peeps the way you do.
I don't like. What are you talking? Annette loves them.
Well, you guys shout on them
People
last year.
send them. No,
Yeah.
Annette, she keeps them in her desk drawer and they come out. They're hard as a rock by the time she
Yeah,
finishes.
but it's chocolate, and chocolate's always dose dependent and type of chocolate dependent. So, if you have a giant breed like Bubba who eats a Reese's peanut butter cup, it's not going to cause a problem. That's milk chocolate. It's just the outer coating. It's, it might upset his stomach in some way, but it's not going to be toxic. If you have a small dog who eats dark chocolate or baking chocolate, that could be a big problem. So,
Or gum.
gum
Extra
is
gum.
different, right? It's the xylitol in the gum, a sugar substitute called xylitol. So yeah, if that's in any of the candy, that's something to watch for as well. But yeah, definitely watch those Halloween buckets that your kids bring home.
Yeah.
That the dogs don't get through them.
Christian is asking, what is everyone's spirit animal? Do you think you have one, Mar? I think mine might be this thing back here.
The pumpkin.
That might be my spirit
I
animal.
wonder if that still works. It
I
used
think
to
it's
shake
oddly
it.
like me after a while.
It got him. What were you showing the other night that on one of your net videos that looked like you? Was it a peep?
What? I can't remember.
You were showing something. It was something you were eating. I think it was an orange peep.
Oh yeah, it
And
was.
it
It was a
actually
pumpkin. It was a pumpkin peep. Yeah.
It was
think so.
a little scary.
If it's round and orange, you could mistake it for me somehow.
Does anyone have any questions about Corey?
What?
Answer questions.
I do
about
my
you.
shows all the time.
I know.
People know way too much about me already.
I saw that people were asking psychic questions of you yesterday
Yeah,
for Annette
I just save them for Annette.
for next week. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell people. Other than that one guy, Sal, who just wants football predictions he's a Buffalo Bills fan. He just wants me to predict the Bills games.
Someone asked about the Snyder if he's going to have to sell the Washington team.
Yeah, I answered that.
Yeah, I think he is.
It's going to take an act of Congress to actually get
Well, but
owners
eventually,
to remove him. But
I
they're
think
going-
I think it'll happen.
yeah, they're working on it. I think
Yeah.
they've been working on it for a year.
But I do also think that he has dirt that he'll hold over. So, oh, Annalie, and they love the pumpkin. They love Peeps. I just,
Well, that's right. They were Annalise Peeps. Yeah. she
Yeah.
sent them.
yeah, I can't, as much as I love sweets, that concentrated sugar. Oh,
Could you ever do cotton candy?
no, I hate a cotton candy.
Did you really?
The way
Yeah.
it melts in your mouth.
It was like insulation,
Yeah, never.
sweet
No.
sweet
I
insulation.
prefer chocolate. Just like I like animals with fur and feathers, I prefer with fur and not feathers, it has to have fur or hair. I like sweets with chocolate.
Catherine Sheng, how you doing, Catherine? If a dog eats candy, it gets an upset stomach. Anything we can give them to feel better?
Well, if it's just that GI upset and not like a chocolate toxicity, usually it's just waiting it out, unfortunately. A bland diet is sometimes helpful. So kind of like us, if your stomach's not feeling great, you don't want to eat anything really rich or greasy. So like a little bit of white or brown rice, or actually just going lighter on their food for a couple of, until it's better, not giving them quite as much. But yeah, it's usually better pretty quickly. So if it's just that they have an upset tummy, you can try those things. If they're really having a lot of vomiting and diarrhea, then we worry about them getting dehydrated. And, that they might need to be seen. And then if there's chocolate involved, that we're worried that maybe they're having the toxicity of chocolate, then that, I would give your vet a buzz. So, oh, Joan of Arc asked, how did we meet?
Joan asked that?
Yeah.
Oh, Pauline didn't tell you? We met out in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
Yeah, we met
114
online.
years ago.
Yeah. Oh, stop. 14 years ago.
We met online, but not like on an online dating site. I was
Right.
actually in
Chat room.
I was in a live chat actually looking at people's names and handles because I was writing for a ventriloquist named David Strassman. David Bent, you might know him. He's big down in Australia. And he had a new character that was, I think it was a robot, and he wanted a name for it, but he wanted to have kind of like a some sort of robotic bent to the name, to the handle. So we kept looking at all these handles. And back then, like Yahoo chat rooms, it was 98% spam and bots and weird names. And so you could always tell when there was actually a real person in there. And then I would ask the real person how they came up with their name, because it was usually just a bunch of letters, bunch of numbers, or there was some symbolism behind it. And I asked you, and that's how it started, which is really weird.
Yeah. I was off work for a few days for some reason. I remember this so distinctly.
Of course you do.
I had a
Of course you do.
How could I forget? But I had a 4-day gap where I wasn't working for some odd reason, but I didn't have any plans. I was, not traveling. I was staying home. So I think I was just bored. I'm like, all right, well, let's see what's in this Yahoo chat room. And I think you were the only other actual person in there.
Yeah, I don't even think Dave Strauss might have even, I don't think he was with me that time, but he would go in too, and we would just say, hey, because no one else, there was no real person. There'd be 100 names in there, but no real
They
person.
weren't real. Or if it was someone who, wanted you to send them
naked HDs.
naked like you said, Christian, they wanted you to send naked HD pictures
they were everywhere.
immediately. And that's not why I was there.
It was weird though, Chrissy, because it wasn't like they had weird links with them.
Yeah.
They were just fake names.
Yeah, it just wasn't real.
They were just there, yeah.
So then when he just asked me what my handle was, which was Mayor's 636. That's what I do for everything. It's just my address growing up, my nickname and my address from growing up. And then we just kept on chatting from there.
Yeah.
And 4 hours later.
And we stopped chatting once we got together.
Oh, stop. Yeah. Because 4 nights in a row we were chatting online, and it was fine because I didn't have to work the next day for any of those. But then when I had to work, I'm like, I can't do 4 hours every day.
And then I was writing a lot, so I was a night owl.
Yeah, and
I'm
I'm not.
late night shows and award shows, so I had weird hours then. I kind of miss being a night owl, but now I'm definitely have farmer's hours now up at the crack of dawn.
Well, you don't sleep. And our first date was watching the Celtics play it was Celtics.
You're a Boston
Lakers.
Celtics, America.
It was the finals in 2008, Celtics Lakers. So we watched the game on TV and got pizza at your apartment. And then our second date, I took him to the game because I had a hookup with the Lakers. So I got seats at face value.
And we friggin' lost.
And they lost the game, but they won the series.
Yes.
So
That was a lot.
I mean, pizza on the floor at the apartment, going to the actual game. I think we know
You
who
liked it.
has the better.
I like the first date better.
Yeah, right.
Hey, so we had
Oh, yeah,
some
that's what we meant.
follow-ups. Jamie Johnson,
Yeah.
if you don't have, what is this?
Ipecac.
Ipecac, what can you do? And Sharon asking you give dogs Pepto.
Yeah. So Ipecac is a emetic. It induces vomiting. I don't even know. I think they still sell it, but I don't use it. In clinic, we have products that we can give to make a dog vomit if we need to bring up something they've eaten. At home, the only, home type of thing that induces vomiting is hydrogen peroxide given orally, which is absolutely no fun to do. It's that typical, hydrogen peroxide you would use for that most people have in their linen cabinet. But yeah, it's not easy to give and it's not always reliable. So I mean, you can Google and find amounts and how to do that, but I'm not a huge fan of it, just because it's not easy to give at all. So and then someone asked about Pepto. Pepto can be given to, I just wouldn't, I wouldn't undertake that on your own. I would, run the scenario by your veterinarian and see if they're okay with it. Because there's certain cases where we wouldn't want to give Pepto. And it can sometimes, have untoward effects that we wouldn't, want to have happen. So it can be used, but that it should be under the supervision of your vet.
Good. Lizelle, what can I do for my dog when she gnaws on her paws due to skin allergies? It usually happens between spring and early fall.
Yeah. So spring to early fall. So it's most likely pollens and maybe things that are like actually contacting her paws when you take her out on walks. So you could try to wash her paws after you come back from a walk, especially if you've been on grass or out for a while. And that could be as simple as having a little foot bath right inside the door and just doing one paw at a time and then drying them off. So rinsing the paws can sometimes be helpful, but a lot of times those allergens are inhaled. So it's not necessarily just contact with the paws. It can be inhaled and then it leads to licking. So yeah, washing the paws is one thing that could be helpful. Decreasing the amount of time spent on grass, or if the pollen counts are really high, just maybe trying a little, not going out in a field with tons of pollen, but you're not going to eliminate all the exposure. So baths of the whole body would be a way to get some of that pollen dander off their fur as well. And then if it really is bad, you could try antihistamines can sometimes be helpful. Rinses or actually medicated shampoos that you can use on the paws and on the coat. Yeah, all good things that you can try. There's something else that came in my head and went out and I'm stalling to try to get it back in there, but it's not coming. So yeah, very common, Liz. Allergies in dogs are a huge issue, especially in the summertime. Bye, Jamie. Thanks for coming in.
Well, have a good night, Jamie. Annalie asked about kaopectate.
Yeah, kaopectate would be Imodium is the ingredient in that. Same as with Pepto, it can be used, but sometimes, let's say an animal is having diarrhea, sometimes we actually just want to get it out. So giving them kaopectate and stopping the diarrhea can sometimes not be what we want to do, especially if there's like a bacterial component or, salmonella, et cetera. You just want to get those bacteria out of the system. So again, just you can, but I would do that under consultation with your vet. Medicated shampoos, Liz followed up. So are there medicated shampoos? Are the medicated shampoos over the counter? So in actual, there are prescription shampoos, and those wouldn't be over the counter. That would be through your vet. But you could even use, say, like an oatmeal type of shampoo, which would be at a pet store. Oatmeal can be very soothing for the coat if it's a little bit irritated. And then even like a mild hydrocortisone type shampoo, you can usually find those over the counter. And that hydrocortisone is a dilute or a mild steroid that can calm the coat down. And then actually the one thing that I used to use quite a bit when I saw derm cases a lot was, oh gosh, Selsun Blue. Yeah, Selsun Blue.
Oh.
Man, I'm having a moments tonight. Selsun Blue, which is the type of shampoo that people would use for dandruff. That it has an antifungal agent and also can help with dry skin. So sometimes the paws get a little bit fungusy, for lack of a better word, because of the licking and because it's kind of a wet environment in there from licking. So you could use a Selsun Blue or Head and Shoulders type of shampoo on the coat, and then, you know, have that on the paws. With any type of shampoo, just make sure you rinse it really well, because any residue left on the coat can then be irritating too. So those are the over the counters that could work. Yeah.
I'm asking the audience if
Prel.
if Prel is still
I have not
made.
seen Prel. How about Pert?
Pert might still be, but Prel was so weird because it was just green goop.
I remember the green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in forever.
Prel in ages.
But so Christian said you have to sign for Ipecac because it can be abused. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the active ingredient. We just don't use it because we have so many other options. But yeah, it's a common. I mean, you don't remember having to take an emetic when you were young for any reason? Emetic, something to make you vomit. It had to have been Ipecac if you did.
Never. Did you?
You never ate something that you shouldn't have.
I wasn't much of a.
I don't think I did either.
Vomiter until I got into drinking.
Oh, geez. Oh, Corey. Oh, I should tell them about your escapade on the Sunset Cruise.
They
in
still make
Mexico.
Prel, and I have an original glass bottle from the 60s.
Wow, that's a
There you go.
collector's item, Christian.
They sell Prel on Amazon. So you know what else they're still calling? They Aquafresh, the toothpaste.
Yeah.
They sell on Amazon. Did you know that pump toothpaste is no longer made in the US?
Why?
You have to order it from overseas. I don't know why. I went down a rabbit hole one night and found out there is a reason why they don't do it. But it's as if the entire industry just said, hey, it's either too expensive to package or whatever. We're not doing this crap anymore.
The mechanism.
But it was so much easier, especially the way our setup is. We have like a not very deep medicine cabinet where I like to keep the toothpaste. And instead we just stand it up in there. I don't like that. I want a pump
You think
bottle.
it's easier. So, okay,
What?
you're going to get me back on this because Corey has lots of stories he could tell about me too, but
What are you doing now? Which one
you
is
were
this?
talking about drinking. So Corey and I just spent a week in Mexico. We were in Cabo San Lucas and
Be careful, Lockwood.
beautiful. I know he's going to get me back. Beautiful area. I love it. I would go there again in a minute. I would live there in a second. So I loved it, if you couldn't tell. But the place we stayed, of course, had a swim up bar. So on day one of our trip, Corey decides that he's going to plant himself at the swim up bar. And it was great. We had a wonderful time. But we had a sunset cruise to go to that night, and we had to get to downtown and we had to get a little fancied up. So Corey was drinking all morning.
It started with sunrise.
Yeah, he started drinking.
Beautiful
He got up to see the sunrise. I didn't, but he got up to see the sunrise and decided taking a beer with him to do that would be
Or
the
three.
smartest thing to do. So he's drinking from 5:30 a.m. We all got up and joined him later in life or later in the day. Jeez. It was later in life too. And then we made all sorts of friends at the swim up bar. So I had to literally pull him out of the pool.
I was making friends.
Yeah, I know, but you were also very drunk.
Oh.
Pull him out of the pool to get him to go so we could make it downtown in time for the cruise. And then we get on the cruise and he is, catatonic, borderline. Because the alcohol is just hitting him at that point. So he ends up just sitting in the corner I just am feeding him water, of course, just pouring it down him as best I could. And all they had on the boat for food was a cheese and crackers and little things. So I'm just like forcing cheese and crackers on him. So by about an hour into the cruise, you started to come around a little bit to the point where you could stand, and, you know, I wasn't worried you were going to fall overboard. But I have some photographic evidence from that night that it's pretty funny. I mean, you are
Any
so,
you, man,
oh, you have
that I'll
none.
share.
You have none, but I mean, they're funny. So, which is the best one? Oh, God. So, romantic sunset cruise for Corey and I. And these are the faces I get. It's not in focus, but these are the faces he's making.
Oh,
in
that's
all the
Land's End,
pictures.
folks. Land's
That's
End at the end of
Land's
Baja,
End, San
California.
Lucas. We got one good picture out of it. But yeah, he's just laughing. He can't even attempt to take a normal picture because he was barely able to
Give you an
stand
idea
up
of
by that
scale.
point.
Meredith is 6'4".
What?
Just give people an
I'm
idea of
not.
scale.
You're bending over in that picture.
Oh.
Last one. So yeah, these are all the pictures that my friend was able to get of us in this very romantic, beautiful spot, and Corey barely able to stand up.
It's great though. And we went back 3 or 4 times.
We did.
To
We
Land's End.
saw Land's End after that too, but
Killed it.
oh God, I was so mad at you. And then the next day we ran into the people that he was chatting up at the swim up bar for an hour the day before, and he didn't even remember them.
No clue.
I had to cover for him because he had no idea who they were. I'm like, Corey, they invited us to their house in Huntington
There are
Beach.
2 sets of people that I had no idea.
Oh God. It was fun. It was a great trip.
Yeah.
He sobered up after that, but Vegas syndrome, you go too hard on
We
the first
recommend
day.
it. And Annalie's brother had a place right
Yeah.
around the corner from us. I
loved it there.
We actually boated by it.
Yeah, that Corey, you said that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a great time. We had a great time. And it just made me laugh. I mean, you were gone.
It was a good one.
I was worried he was going to either fall overboard or,
Oh, stop it.
you know, lose his cookies in front of the 50
Lose
other
my
people.
cookies.
I mean, you were gone.
It's a good time.
But anyway,
Are you done?
I'm done.
All right. After you leave, I'll tell a story about you and show pictures.
I am a wonderful drunk.
Yeah, Kat, Bubba and I have the same stomach. So I can take it.
Yeah, no, I
It
actually,
was a long day.
yeah. And you weren't too bad the next day.
Pomonas. That's tequila,
Paloma.
Fresca Paloma.
Paloma.
Tequila, grapefruit, and Fresca. And I do not like any of those things. But I had 900 of them that day.
He does work hard and play
Work hard,
Phyllis.
play harder,
Yeah.
Phyllis.
That's why I couldn't get on him too much. I know how hard he's been working.
Yeah, it was
So.
much needed. And I paid for it for the rest of the week.
I just pictured this romantic sunset cruise.
so full of
and,
crap.
you know, and it was instead me trying to keep Corey from hurting himself.
Right. Are we done here?
Yes, I
All
think
right.
so.
So let's put a plug in this thing.
Okay.
Your mouth and then this show.
Come on.
No, it's been great. We have to wrap things up. I have to get to another project tonight. Sorry. But we'll do this again sometime
Still no
soon.
Yoon, huh?
No, I was waiting for it. It's Yoon 42 right now. I don't know.
Sleeping in lately.
Yeah,
Good
but
for
I
her,
didn't.
good for her.
I really should just be. I actually should have asked for a phone number. If you missed it earlier, we missed Yoon last night. 23 minutes after the show ended, Yoon emailed me, but then she also put a message in the comment section last night too. So there was that. What you looking for?
No, I was just seeing.
Oh, we good.
I just saw Christian's comment about the couple across the bar.
Yeah.
I didn't get those vibes. They did invite us to stay with them in Huntington Beach next time we're in California.
Wait, I didn't tell anyone. Rosacea.
Rosacea. No, they called you Rojolito,
They did call me. I was nicknamed Rojolito down there.
which
I
is
told
the little redhead.
I told Jalapenos that today. This
Yeah.
Mexican restaurant that's a client of mine. They're all brothers from Mexico, and they got a kick out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rojolito.
Rojolito, my new nickname for you.
Kat says I can eat a potato and not even burp. That's true. One of my many talents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try that. Although we are out of potatoes, I got to go to the grocery store
Oh,
tomorrow.
geez, we got nothing.
Yeah.
We still haven't grocery shopped since we got back.
No, it's trouble. So, all right, we want to thank everybody for the questions and your time tonight. Your
Yes,
eyes
thank
and
you.
ears, truly appreciated. We'll let you know when Mayor's around again for another show. Like I said, this Friday night We'll have the pumpkin carving show. I'll be on in the live chat for that. Monday, I believe we're going to have hypnotherapist change worker Linda Sabo. Then I'll be on my own Tuesday night to field your questions for a net show next Wednesday. So that's the immediate schedule here for Bridge Cape Band. If you want the newsletter that comes out each week, email me at hello@bridgecapeband.com. And I think that's about it for now. Of course, we have to thank Christian and Anna Lee
Yes.
for wielding the
Thanks,
wrenches
guys.
tonight. And sorry about the Annette thing, but she'll be back from Maine and we'll be back in a regular time slot next Wednesday night for a Halloween themed show.
Nice.
So she gets really
She
geeked up for that. So
yeah,
it should be a good one.
be fun.
So that's it. Okay, thanks for playing, everybody. We'll see you next time. Adios
Bye,
for
everybody.
now. Say bye to this guy. This guy needs a
Mm.
name at some point, I think. Bye. Oh, this lingers for a couple seconds, so we just look awkwardly in the